Yeah, it's a
So
good
they
deal.
stayed. And so I grew up in South Africa in Benoni.
Okay.
And both my parents were incredibly artistic. My father was very good pianist, very good
Right.
writer.
Okay.
He just was kind of bound by this moral responsibility to be a man and look after his family and to do a proper job, not be an artist. So he worked on the mines, which he didn't enjoy, but that was kind of the ethic that he grew up with, was that he couldn't go off and be an artist.
Right.
Although he was an incredibly talented man, he really was.
Yeah. Yeah. So how many siblings did you have
Two.
growing up? Two growing up. Or were they also musically inclined?
Very much.
Right. So it was a whole family upbringing, like in the music. Yeah.
My parents started in Benoni, where we came from. They founded a society which is still going today. It's called Protea. Now it's called Protea Stage Productions, but they started it as a choir, which used to rehearse in our house, and then they turned it into a theatre club, and then they turned it into like a musicals club.
Right.
And so I spent my whole life surrounded by plays and music and whatever. And then I went to go and study drama at what is the University of Tshwane. It used to be Pretoria Technikon.
Okay, right. So what was your initial reaction or thoughts on South Africa, apart from the skin tones being wildly different? Did you, especially during apartheid, I'm curious about this. Was there any indications of what was going on around you, or were you in a bubble of sorts by that time? Because like everyone.
There were indications.
You're right. It was shock, though, obviously.
There were. Okay, I was going to tell you the first thing, just as a follow-up to that Pakistani guy.
Right.
When we arrived. When we flew to South Africa, we stopped in Nairobi. I'd never seen African people before.
It's a hell of a place to start. Yeah. Yeah.
And I stood on the tarmac looking up, because there was a school outing at Nairobi airport. They'd come to look at the thing, and they were all pulling their tongues at me.
Yeah.
And I was amazed that they had pink tongues, because I'd never seen black people. And I said to my mother, look, and they were waving. And so sort of as a small kid, that, I mean, it was not a racist thing. It was just an observation. Was like, look at these children. They've got brown skins, but their tongues are pink.
Yeah, no, I think every child has that conversation. I remember we used to talk with my white friends when I first came to South Africa. We used to be like, hey, look, we got the, because I mean, now I suppose if you got 25-year-olds talking about it, people would look at them sideways. But children, they don't know anything about politics and
exactly.
Yeah. How old were you in Nairobi at that time?
It was 5. And
5.
I hadn't
seen, wow. Yeah.
It was my first time seeing a black person. So
wow.
And then we came to South Africa, and I grew up in that bubble where this is so horrible to say, but that's the reality of how we grew up, and it's just shocking to say it now. But the only black people that we ever saw was the woman who came to clean for us. She arrived at 8 in the morning, and she would leave at, I don't know, 3 or 4 in the afternoon. She was like a second mother to us. We loved her, but looking back, I understand, we didn't sort of understand how unfair it was.